welcome to this beautiful conversation. I'm Abiola, founder of womanifesting.com and the Spiritpreneur Visibility Book Lab. I'm so excited today to share with you one of my dear friends who we've been in conversation with before, my beautiful Spiritpreneurs. This is Goddess Lainey Love Dalby. Hello, Goddess. How are you?
Hello, beloved. So wonderful to be here with all of you today. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So let me tell them a little bit about the magic that you make in this beautiful world of ours. So Lainey Love Dalby is a galactic rainbow shaman on a mission to free human spirits that have been told that they're either too much or not enough, to sparkle shamelessly and step into their authentic power and sovereignty. She is a big-hearted, ecstatic, embodied leadership mentor, best-selling author, ceremonialist, holy healer, fierce trailblazer in women's spirituality and leadership, and an overall catalyst of personal and planetary transformation. Embark on the journey with her at LaineyLoveDalby.com and on Instagram at LaineyLoveDalby. And there is much, much more to this goddess, but I will share that as our conversation unfolds. So, Goddess Lainey, this is, that's the official bio. Can you share with us who the woman is behind that bio?
The woman behind the bio. What a question. What a question. Well, for me, I really feel that I am on a deep, deep mission to free human spirits to sparkle shamelessly and to step into their full power and sovereignty. And that is a much deeper vision that is really about co-creating a constellation of star beings, of millions of star beings that are sparkling shamelessly across the globe to help flood the house of humanity with light. So I am very much a fire keeper, coming from the sun with the energy of the sun, and really here to help ignite and to help catalyze and to help be a pillar of light between heaven and earth, and really grounding that energy here now. I'm very much a cosmic channel and, serve as a lightning rod of truth as well. So really a spokesperson for the fierce feminine, and somebody where my superpower is really co-creating and creating these containers of alchemical transformation where individuals step in to really grow and have soul healing and transformation and play. And it's an opportunity to really come as you are, but leave as more of who you are. So that is truly, giving people full permission to be unapologetically who they are and to step into their full unique soul sparkle and medicine and deliver that to the world on behalf of the greater good is really the deep inspiration that I move from every day, because I believe that we're each this walking stardust.
Yes,
and
we are.
our true nature to shine. And so, really all that I do is in service to the greater good and to help really be a midwife to the soul on individual journeys, but also to be a midwife to the new paradigm that is birthing now. And to really
beautiful. Well, let me just jump in, just because that's a lot, for people to take in. And I think that, the beautiful thing is that most of the people who are listening to this conversation are on the same journey. So I want them to be able to savor and learn more about how maybe you got the courage. Well, let's start back at the beginning. How did you first know that this was your calling?
Well, for me, I'm a deep believer that there's a gem inside of our wounds. And so my deepest wound that I really discovered along this journey, especially in the shadowy realms, was daring to live into the fullness of my being, was the greatest wound, because I was bullied and I was shamed and had a lot of psychological violence, and I wasn't really embodied. I didn't feel safe here. I didn't feel safe in my own skin. I didn't feel safe to be in my truth, not only in this lifetime, but in past lifetimes. I've been burned at the stake, and I've been, you know, I've really had a hard time, and in a lot of senses have been hunted for being in my truth and for standing in that. So there's been a lot of old cellular wounding and energies that I had to clear to be able to stand in my fullness. And it's been, you know, over a decade journey of really clearing away all that is no longer serving me. And that's really a big part of how I show up in service to others, is helping them to clear and shed, like a snake sheds its skin, all that is no longer serving, because definitely I carry a lot of that snake medicine as well. And so just really helping us to remove the shackles and the shaming and the wounding and the old pain and the trauma and all that shadow material, and really bring that out into the light so that we can be in our wholeness and in our fullness and really shine that fully in the world.
That's beautiful, beautiful. And a lot of spiritpreneurs experience, you know, what I like to call, you know, having to come out of the closet with who they are and the work that they're wanting to do, and this big grand calling of what they're being called toward, their vision for the world and their relationship as they see that evolution and revolution unfolding. Did you have a coming out of the closet moment with your vision as a visionary human yourself?
I mean, I've had many coming out of the closet moments, you know, being a queer woman of spirit and faith, and, you know, being a shamanic healing artist. And, you know, I think there's been several points on the journey where it's been saying yes, even though I had a refusal of the call. But very much the heroine's journey, that there have been moments where I've gotten to and spirit says, okay, it's time for you to do X. And I'm like, no effing way am I going to do that. And, you know, that even happened when the call to come, you know, to that my sacred work was to help people sparkle shamelessly. I was like, come on, you've got to be kidding. And I just kept receiving that message. And I was like, okay, well, what does that really mean? Is that really my sacred work? And if so, what does that look like? What is that journey? And so, you know, I usually will end up having these very almost like mythic defining moments that have really convinced me to say yes. And around the sparkling shamelessly, to make a really long story short, I got the call to do a labyrinth on a retreat, where I went with the question, is sparkling shamelessly my sacred work in the world? Is that what I'm meant to focus my entire life force energies on? And I did a labyrinth, and, you know, went into the center, went out, and I thought, I haven't received anything in this labyrinth. No information was coming in. But then as I was walking out, fireflies started to appear. And by the time I got to the end of the labyrinth, it was as if the whole night sky had fallen down, and there were hundreds of thousands of fireflies all around me. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. And, you know, and I feel like I'm on another edge with the Galactic Rainbow Shaman piece as well. And I really resisted that for a long time. And, you know, the reality is as I've claimed more of my ancestry, and as I have remembered more of my ancestry, and as I have gone back to revisit my ancestral lands, I really have very deeply tapped into my Druidic and Celtic shaman heritage. And, you know, it is a part of my bloodline that I am carrying. And also the Iceni warrior woman, which is, you know, where a lot of my fierce feminine energy comes from. And so it has been a process of reclamation for me, and reclaiming my roots and going all the way back to my roots. And that is one of the 13 pillars of the sacred art of sparkling shamelessly. It's really rooting in ancient wisdom and ritual and ceremony, but especially like rooting back into our ancestral wisdom and our rhythms and our cycles and the way that things were before the current patriarchal consumerist paradigm that is really, you know, rampantly destroying our world. And, you know, it's just each little point along, it's almost like the puzzle pieces come in, or it's like creating a big map of my destiny. And it's like, I slowly follow it, sort of like this shamanic art piece behind me that I made. It's, you know, a map to my destiny, and it's been unfolding over time, you know, and it's like each year, each month, I see new clues and, you know, new pieces of my soul expression that are meant to come forward, and a new sort of integration of my own full rainbow light ray expression, you know, and unique essence that I have as I help others and guide others to step into theirs as well.
Yes. Ancestral work is a big part of the work that I do with the goddesses as well, because it is such a powerful, incredible key to, you know, as we know now that time isn't this linear thing as we've been taught, the Newtonian model, but it's all happening at once. And so our ancestors and our ancestral heritage and who we have been and who we are and who we will be, it's all now. It's all here and all ever present. And so it's a very, very important part of, if you are watching this and you've been experiencing, any personal blocks on your journey, this may be a really important key for you. I know that it was, as Goddess Lainey said, for her and for me as well, in your unfolding. I want to talk about the name Sparkle Shamelessly, and one of the things that you and I have in common, one of the things that drew me to you the first time that I saw you in all of your sparkle and your shameless sparkle is, how do I put this? Just your capacity to boldly bring magic and play and fun to very deep, important shamanic healing practices. And I received a lot of very similar comments from people who didn't understand the title of my last book, the Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self-Love, and thought, oh, well, that's something playful and that's something light, and tried to be dismissive of it. And I know that you've had that similar experience with people assuming that when they see Sparkle Shamelessly, people see me, like I have wands everywhere and, all kinds of like fun, like, sparkle things everywhere. But my work is potent, life-shifting, paradigm-shifting, evolutionary, dig up of everything work. And the same with you. Can you talk about that, how this masculine paradigm that we exist in, this patriarchal thing looks at, and not just men. People assume sometimes when we're talking about keepers of the patriarchy, a lot of those are women, will look at Sparkle Shamelessly, that concept, and try to be reductive about it.
Yeah. I mean, Sparkle Shamelessly, and in the beginning, I even felt that way in a lot of ways. That was part of my refusal of the call. But once I really dug deeper into the true meaning of that, it's really about allowing our spiritual magnificence to come forth, our soul essence, the reality and raw truth of who we are. And it's a process of remembrance. And I think that we are in a great time of remembering of who we are, of why we've come, of what we're made of what we're here for. And, really it's this idea of being fully lit up and turned on and blazing true. And that's where the sovereignty piece comes in. It's really knowing oneself and really being able to be very clear and in awareness of, this is who I am, this is why I'm here, and I'm going to bring that forward with all of my Shakti, with all of my life force. And I'm going to focus on what matters most, because this life is short. This life is precious. This life is sacred. And it's really about going all in with the time that we have here. And that's why the work I do is about ecstatic embodiment. It's not just about being in our bodies and being here and remembering our truth and bringing that forward, but it's about it really feeling good and having it be an ecstatic feeling where we're truly in the fullness of our aliveness, because that's what we need, is more people who have come alive. And, really leaning in to our fullness and who we're meant to be is the most important gift we can give. Living into our revolutionary potential, our human potential, that is the greatest gift we can give our families, our communities, the world. And, it's one of the reasons why entrepreneurship, spiritual entrepreneurship, is such a powerful way of bringing our creations forward. But there are many other ways too, because we're here to birth our love into action now fully, and to bring that into the world for the greater good of all, knowing that there is someone out there that needs us, and that it is our responsibility to live our lives so that they can find us. And that's why the work that you do around visibility is so important, because we do need to come out of hiding. We do need to come out of the closet. We do need to say, you know, this isn't about what you think I should be, or, you know, what you think I should be doing, or what you think I should look like, or what you think I should be wearing, or what you think I should be calling myself. It's like, this is the truth of who I am, period. This is the rooted genius and intelligence and brilliance that I have been brought here to bring. And I want to deliver that as a gift to the world, knowing that we each have medicine that is deeply needed at this time. We are each a nutrient that is needed for the ecosystem of the collective, for us all to thrive and for us all to be nourished. And that's why the embodiment work is so important, because if we're not nourished in our own embodiment, we can't nourish the world with our gifts. And we can't be in our ecstasy and in our pleasure and fully in our medicine and our magic if we're not fully here and fully at home. And, you know, that's another part of how I really stepped into this work. I had 9 friends, dear friends, who committed suicide along my journey because they didn't feel safe here on this earth and they did not feel like they belonged. And that's not okay. It's not okay. I want everyone to know how deeply they are loved, that they belong, that they are worthy, that they are valuable, that they are needed at this time. And, you know, to know that life is precious and that we are here for a reason, truly believing that, and that everything that's happening to us is happening for us so that we can all flourish collectively. But so much of it is that remembrance and coming back to remember how connected we are. That's a big part of the sacred revolution that I talk about, this revolution of love and reverence for self and our bodies and for each other and for the earth and the greater web of all life of which we're a part. Really rooting back into that, because we would take different actions. We would respond differently. Just as people are responding differently now in what's going on the global stage, you know, it would be the same if we remembered our sacredness.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And wow, that was just divine and lovely. Thank you for that. We have very similar ways of working with people. I know that we both work with people in immersive practices and in retreat, as well as other ways. So of your myriad different ways of giving your divine medicine, what's your favorite way that you work with your tribe?
Well, I'd say really, as I named, creating these containers of alchemical transformation, and, you know, where you're invited to really come as you are and leave as more of who you are. So for me, that's really holding space for others so that they can rise into their full power, their sovereignty, their revolutionary potential, so that they can really come home to their bodies and their truth. So that remembering, that helping and holding space for others to call all parts of themselves back home and really remember why they're here at this most potent time in human history and return to their innate divinity, because that is how we sparkle shamelessly. It's really the merging of that higher self, that divine self, with our humanity, with our human self here on the 3D and bringing that into full expression. And, you know, for me, that happens through one-on-one private mentorship with specific alchemical containers I create one-on-one. It happens with ritual and ceremonies. It happens with sort of day-long immersions up to week-long retreats. Just really holding that space and weaving almost this energetic basket of light where we can come and heal and grow and play and transform and really step into the fullness of who we're meant to be and just grow and continue to grow together.
And that's what it's all about, stepping into the fullness of who we're meant to be and growing together. And with that in mind, we have a very exciting collaboration coming up, something magical that Goddess Lainey was doing, combined with something magical that I had going on, and boom, we are putting them together. So I want to share about your book birthing shamanic ritual activation, which is coming up on March 25th. If you're watching this afterward, don't worry, we're going to share with you how you can still continue to go and bask in the magic. I had, my tribe is maybe familiar with, I had a book birthing channeling ceremony regarding my current Visibility Lab program, which is the Visibility Book Lab, book brand business about putting your medicine in the world in a book. Tell us about let me get the whole title, the Book Birthing Shamanic Ritual Activation. Ooh, all that juiciness. Yes, let's get it moving. Yes.
So the exciting thing about it is that even though it's on March 25th, it's on the new moon in Aries. So it's an archetypal energy that can be tapped into at any time. And we're going to be gathering in Sacred Circle virtually for a ceremonial journey to really ignite our inner fire and to stimulate the creation of our next big project. And so that could be a book. It could also be an oracle deck, a creative endeavor, an artwork, a sacred business.
Yes.
But we're going to be going on an immersive journey, and it's going to be merging Koya movement and shamanic journeying and depth inquiry and divination and expressive arts and ritual and really sharing in beloved community, where we're going to tap into and energetically create the birth field for your creations. And so you're going to be guided to receive and create a visual symbol that's going to become your yoni portal of transformation and birth canal for your creative project. So after that happens, we're then going to plant our intention seeds for our creations into the potent cosmic womb of the collective to be able to really supercharge our desires and dreams into womb manifestation. And, you know, creativity has been proven to boost our immune system as well, as does gathering with like-minded people. So as a bonus, it's also going to create a field of protection around you from all that's moving in the global sphere at this time. And plus, it's really an ideal time to be journeying within and going within and really bringing those dreams that have been lingering with all the time indoors. So it's really an opportunity for you to bring your wild out in deep service to the world, to bring your too muchness, if that's what you've been told. You know, I believe our too muchness is deep medicine for the world, to bring that creative project that has been nagging at you for years, that book, that whatever it is, to really, you know, say, it's time. Now is the time. This medicine is needed. But especially if you're writing a book, because I think that writing and words and books, and they are alchemical containers of transformation in themselves when they're done well. And I think that, you know, that kind of transmission is deeply needed in our world at this time. These transmissions of medicine that can be downloaded easily and wherever you are in the world globally, and these transmissions can create and catalyze awakening quickly. And I think that's part of what is needed at this time with those that are light workers and star beings. That's how we're going to flood the house of humanity with light, is having quick activations that can happen, quick moments of awakening, quick catalyzing. And so I really see books as a deep means to do that and allow us to really show up fully. And the reason that we're doing this in community is because birth can be painful and messy and primal and unpredictable, but also ecstatic. And it can really take a village. So it's this idea of having witnesses and beloveds who are beside us and cheering us on, and, you know, soul midwives that are helping us to birth our creations and our books into the world, because we're not meant to be creating in silos, even if we have to be in our homes. So let's come together to create for the greater good of the next 7 generations and beyond. That is my deep desire for this gathering, beloveds.
Lovely, lovely, loverly. You are a published author, and that was a big part also of why I wanted for us to have this conversation at this time. And you have beautiful books where you have been a co-author, and you've also illustrated covers. Let's show them off. Let's have some shameless braggability moments. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I was so deeply blessed to not only be one of the authors with Flower of Life Press with my dear sister Jane Ashley, but also to do the shamanic healing art on the cover. So I was really able to provide a double transmission and to connect the transmission with words as well as symbols and imagery, because our soul and psyche communicates in imagery and in colors and in symbols. So this is really a deep way, and part of what we'll be doing as well in the book birthing shamanic ritual activation is helping to bring that symbology out that is beyond the words, because these transmissions that are coming through each of you is also beyond words, even though we're forming it into words. And so really allowing the space for the different ways that your soul and that your sacred work is trying to communicate with you now. And, you know, these contain their own chapter, even though they're images. So really making space for all the different forms of expression of creation and how that can inform what we're writing and what we're bringing to the world and how we're really birthing our love into action.
And I want to add to that, that if you're watching this and you're feeling the call, you know, to create whatever it is that you wanted to create, even if you've never done it before in your life, you know, Spirit will send us sometimes missions that sound ridiculous, like, wait, I should go dance, I should sing, I should write a song, whatever it is. The resistance that you feel is a part of it. So when you realize that, then you realize that it's not a separate and a different thing. And it's not like, oh, wait, oh no, why is this resistance happening? Right. When you are going through a creative endeavor, a birthing endeavor, the resistance is a part of it. And so being able to see it and feel it and say, welcome, there you are. I knew you were coming, there you are. And figuring out what it has to teach you in this birth process for what you're bringing forward is the most powerful thing that you can do for what you are giving birth to. And I know that you have a beautiful Soul Sparkle Starter Kit. Can you tell us what is in the beautiful Soul Sparkle Starter Kit?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Soul Sparkle Starter Kit is really, you get a taste of the sacred art of sparkling shamelessly and those 13 pillars. And so it's really a sort of toolkit with some practices, some guided ceremonies, some movement, some Koya movement. So you get to do a little taste of what it is that we really journey with on a regular basis. And they're all tools to really help support you in sparkling shamelessly and to stepping into more of your fullness. And one of the rituals, the ceremonial journeys, is actually an ancestor blessing. And so I know we talked about the ancestor work, and so it's a really beautiful actually womb blessing ceremony, which would be very powerful for everything that we talked about today as well. And so yeah, I really would be honored for you to come in. And then you also get to be a part of our Soul Sparkle Sanctuary as well, our online community. And it's really a safe haven for all those who have been told they're too much or not enough to come together and to express and to unapologetically be who they truly are.
That sounds divine. That sounds absolutely divine. And so I want to remind everyone that March 25th, yes, is when the book birthing shamanic ritual activation is happening. And I'm going to there will be links here on how you can either do that by itself and let that be an opening for you, or if you're wanting to do that as a part of the Visibility Book Lab and build your book brand and business over 90 days. You're only 90 days away. You're only one chapter away. And for either of those, you can just get in touch with either of us. Do you want to tell them, is there a separate place where they would go to learn about the book birthing shamanic ritual activation, or is that also on the site?
It's also going to be on the site. Yes.
Okay.
So LainieLoveDalby.com is the best place to find it, and just in the events tab is where it will be.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. And if you happen to be watching this afterward and cannot locate things, just let us know.
We'll help guide you. Don't worry.
Don't worry at all. Don't worry at all. Well, thank you, my beautiful sister. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Just that I love you, and I'm deeply grateful for your presence in this world and for you being such a beautiful mirror and reminder to me and to all those who work with you of how to sparkle shamelessly. You know, living by example is such a beautiful way to bring that medicine. And so I just am deeply grateful for you and your medicine and your tribe and everyone that is here today, really absorbing this medicine. And just remember that someone out there needs you, and it's time to live your life so that they can find you. And we would be deeply honored to support you in that journey in remembering who you truly are and why you're here at this most powerful time in human history. So let's do this. Woo!
So let's do it. Woo! Indeed, indeed, indeed. And I want to also invite you to, if you feel like, okay, I may have a book in me, even if you've never written a word, even if you feel like no one knows your name, even if you are afraid to shine as brightly as you're meant to, I have a free masterclass that you can get started with, a free visibility masterclass that you can start with. Head over to richgoddess.club. That link again is richgoddess.club to begin there. All right, goddesses, thank you so much for joining us on this sacred conversation. You are exactly where you need to be. You are exactly who you need to be. This is your time, and we are in such need for you and your magic. Be seen, be heard, be an incredible movement. Namaste, goddesses.